Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Norton Christian Spiritualist Church this evening. I am going to bring someone who has been to our church quite a few times on the screen now. So I would like to welcome with us this evening, Lindsay Percival. So good evening, Lindsay.
Hi, Chris. Lovely to see you and great to be here.
Yeah, lovely to see you too. So we are just waiting for a few people to join us. So we are going to be talking all things workshop this evening, yet again. Exciting times, because these are the times of year that I like, especially when we're getting workshops promoted and things.
Yeah.
And it's something different for everybody. And I know Lindsay does her own unique teaching with things now. So we're just going to run through that in a minute. I'm going to take that poster off the screen. But before we bring up the next poster, I think it's probably just a good idea, Lindsay, if you just introduce yourself again to people.
Yeah. No problem, Chris. And first of all, thank you for the invitation again to be at your church and to be the host of this Soul's Vision workshop. I always have a lovely, friendly welcome, and it's wonderful to come to the Northeast. So thank you very much for that invitation. So I'm a medium, and I'm also a psychotherapist, a transpersonal psychotherapist, which is a lot of words, but in essence, what that means, it's a holistic, a spiritual way of looking at mental health, which is really about our mental, our physical, our emotional, and our spiritual well-being. So that's my background, that's my training. And so from that, I've developed my own unique approach to workshops, which is bringing in something about psychology and spirituality and where the two meet. I'm also a Reiki master teacher, and I guess I've been working actively with my mediumship and healing maybe coming up to 20 years now, Chris.
Yeah, I think the thing is, as well, as obviously people have seen you last year as well, and obviously when we were trying to plan home haul as well, they've seen you online there as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and it's one of them things of where you're quite offering something different and unique in this stage, really, aren't you? Because it's looking at the soul of the person, isn't it, rather than the actual evidential side and things like that. We're actually, am I right in saying we're looking at ourselves and reflecting on ourselves in that side of things? Would you say?
Absolutely, Chris, because for me, that element of personal development is so important, that we have within ourselves a very strong foundation and a connection to our own soul. Because when we're connecting with the soul of other people here in terms of healing, in terms of our evidential communication and all of that, and the discarnate in the spirit world, to me, we need to understand ourselves. We need to be able to reflect on who we are as people and what our needs and wants and desires are before we start our work with others. So that's the place that I come from.
Yeah, I thought, just what you're saying there hit a nerve with me last night. We had a medium on in church last night, and she was talking through her philosophy, and she went, how many times do you ask people about how they are, but how many times do you ask yourself how you are?
That's it.
And this is where that you've got that connect with this, I believe, with the soul side, because it is about connecting back with yourself, isn't it? Before doing anything else.
Absolutely. And I think when we do that, we actually have a clearer connection to spirit, whether we're working in healing and mediumship, which is also another form of healing, albeit in a different form. And to me, that creates that, if you like, that strength and that foundation that we can rely on. And ultimately, It's about how we connect into the God of our own understanding, however we see that God force to be. Yeah,
exactly that. Just before we move on as well, I know we're having an in-depth conversation here, which is great, and I'm hoping people are liking it that are viewing. If you have any questions as we are going along, please put them in the comments. We'll pick them up and we will answer the questions. Also, please like and share, because then more people get to see it and we're able to promote it more for Lindsay to be able to deliver this workshop for you. So I'm going to actually bring up the poster now, Lindsay, just so people can see what it is. We have had it advertised on Facebook and on the website, but I just want to bring it up so
that's
people
fabulous.
can see that. So we're going to be doing a workshop on the soul's vision. That's your title this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm quite intrigued to know what you're going to be doing, to be honest.
Yeah. So Chris, to me, first of all, the question that people usually ask me is, well, what is the soul?
Yeah.
And how do you define the soul? And what do you mean when you say connect to your soul? And you know, in different spiritual texts, in different spiritual traditions, you can read maybe slightly different information. And ultimately, that's a journey that we all need to make for ourselves and make that decision for ourselves, if you like, and find that connection, which is essentially a reconnection. So for me, soul is something about what is that deeper yearning within you? What is that deeper seeking that you have within you? And what is it that your intuition, which is the language of the soul, is calling upon you to do, or often to be? So the first part of it is really to find that. And people say, well, where is the soul? How do you find it in your body? So everybody connects in at a different place. Some people connect in with their heart.
Yeah.
So that's how I connect to that deeper essence, that sense of me. I connect within my heart. Some people say, well, actually, it's more like in my solar plexus. It's in the central.
I would say exactly that. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it like that for you? Would you say?
I feel as if I feel it more in my solar plexus, but it's as if I've got that loving feeling with it as well, if that would make sense to you.
Yeah, exactly that. So that's really the first part of it, is let's find what we're talking about within ourselves, and sometimes invite people to say, if you asked of your soul to give yourself a sign or a symbol, what would that be? And people can come up with very beautiful things like a diamond.
Yeah.
Well, we're a multifaceted diamond. We have many aspects of self. And these images will arise spontaneously if we create the right amount of stillness and that beautiful space where people can relax and go into that. So that's always interesting. So in this workshop, I might then invite them to capture that image, capture that feeling, capture that color. And really then it's building on that to find out what is that deeper vision within you. Because just as you and I were chatting before, it's very easy to get bogged down in that everyday, this is what I do, and your diary's full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that feeling well.
And you were just speaking about that before, that very often, you know, particularly as we get called upon to serve different churches, before you know it, your diary's actually full to capacity.
Yeah.
And yet within yourself, if you ask of yourself, what more is it that I want to do, that I feel called to do as an act of service? It's, you know, it's that. And maybe, you know, sometimes it's like, well, I want to take a year off.
Yeah.
I actually don't want to have such a busy schedule for the next year, because I need to find something within myself about that pathway that's opening up for me.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if you need to close a door before another one opens.
Yeah.
And then it's, well, which door do you want to close, or doors do you want to close? Because, we are time poor, aren't we? Would you agree?
I would agree with that. We're definitely time poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very much that it's really an opportunity to spend a day in a deeper space, and the vision aspect of it is, in a very practical way, capture that on a vision board, right? So, people will be invited to draw, to write as we connect to our soul, to bring forward these almost like reminders to ourselves. This is the vision, the deeper vision that I hold for myself and that I set my intention to commit to. Because I don't know about you, Chris, but we can sit in lots of lovely workshops and come up with absolutely fantastic ideas. But then it's a step of, how do we actually take that out into our daily life?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, when I very first started out, and probably other people started out as well, is, where do you go? What do you do? What's your purpose in it? What's my niche? What do I want to do out of it? And I think you're right. When you're talking about soul work, and that, it is about you being connected to yourself, so you can find yourself first. Because if you can't find yourself, my prospect on life is that you can't find anybody. So and that's the whole point of us being spiritualists, of being part of that soul and being able to help them people and guide them people where they need to be as well.
Absolutely, because you know for yourself, and especially as church president, people come to you seeking, should I do this? Should I do that? Am I a healer? Am I a medium? Am I none of the above? Should I go to this? Should I go that? So people are looking for direction, and they outsource that power to other people. And of course, eventually, spend money doing a private sitting, or going to therapy, or coming to a workshop. And of course, that's part of it. But what I like to show people is, above all, that guidance is within yourself.
Yeah.
If you form that close relationship with yourself, which is actually the longest relationship you'll ever be in, and yet we fret so much about how we're relating to others, outside ourselves. How much do we spend in that relationship, a very conscious connection with ourselves, to say, well, actually, I'm pulled in this direction, but instinctively, I know that's not the right one for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I hope to show.
Yeah, I think the thing is, as well, is just when you're talking about that there as well, it reminds me of when I used to do a lot of meditation, and I don't. It's one of them time constraint things now, where it's like you're finding the time to do it and things. And to be honest, I probably could find the time, but I don't. And it just reminds me of going back there, because when you're meditating and things as well, you are connecting with yourself in a way there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just by what you're saying there, it's just reminded me a little bit of how much it does take to reconnect with yourself as well. So it's that I'm going to say this workshop isn't really about your mediumistic abilities. It's about connecting with yourself, isn't it?
That's right. It's about having a strong spiritual foundation within yourself that you can always fall back on, also when times are difficult.
Yeah.
And, we can speak of having a relationship with God, but God ultimately is within us. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
If we find God by going on that deeper journey within ourselves, and to ask that guidance from ourselves and from God in that way. And unless we consciously set that up as a practice, it's very easy to get distracted by the day-to-day. And I'm a great believer about starting the day in a conscious way, connected to the soul. That's very much how I set up my day. And that doesn't mean you've got to spend half an hour in meditation when you've got the dog to feed and you pack lunch to put in your bag and to get out of the door and be in a meeting if that's what your busy work schedule requires of you.
Would you say, just out of curiosity, I've never really asked you this before, would you say that this soul workshop blends in a bit with the psyche side of things at all, would you say?
Well, psyche and soul actually come from the same source.
Right.
So the origin of the word psyche is about the soul.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's connected to our intuition, and it's connected to all of those abilities, such as, let's say, precognition, where we have that ability to see events that appear to be in the future, but as we know that there is no time kind of distance within the spirit world, it's happening simultaneously. But that to me is the soul work. That's the foundation of what we do, of who we are.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about when you were talking about then, I thought, oh, is it to do with psychic as well? Because it's just, if people are listening to us, obviously we've got people watching us here, but if people are listening to us, it just gives them an understanding of it. It does link into that psychic side of things if they're interested in that as well, doesn't it? I suppose.
Absolutely, it's about our psychic ability, and I often find, and I wonder what you feel about this, Chris, is, you know, somehow our psychic senses are sort of, they're thought of as secondary or not as important or less than, and that the true gift of the spirit is the connection to the spirit world, the spiritual connection. But our psychic ability is also a very natural ability. That's also our own radar. That helps us know, is it right for me? Is it wrong for me? Is it good for me? You know, is it bad for me? If it's a relationship, is he or she good for me? Is he or she the right one? Is it love? Is it not love? It brings it down to, you know, those everyday questions that we all have, Chris. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing as well, you know, what we do tend to dismiss the psychic side a little bit more. Probably because of the regulations that we've got to abide to and things on the service and things, you know, and I understand that, but, you know, we've still got them opportunities where we do specials and things where people are able to come along and do them psychic abilities, which is absolutely great.
Yeah.
So, you know, this could help you out if you're especially working on the psychic side as well. You don't need to be a medium to do this either, I would say. Is that right?
You really, you don't even need to have made a choice about who or what you are. This is about you finding out and being in touch with yourself and feel what you're drawn to. So it really is. I like my workshops to be for everybody who's within the remit of the church, because if you're not a medium, then people who are on the healing side or on the committee side, or all of those people that we need to keep our doors open, then they don't have the opportunity to go, oh, well, I'm not that and I'm not that, so it's not for me. There's really something in it for everybody. And I like that sense of bringing a community together as well. That excites me.
You know, this is something that I probably don't say enough when I do these. Is these workshops aren't just for people that attend the church. If you're watching this later on and you're from another church within the area, this is open to anybody. It's not just open to people who attend the church. These workshops are available to anybody that wants to attend them.
And I'm pleased you said that, Chris, because what often happens is the people who attend the workshops are the people from that church.
Yeah.
And I also love this idea of thinking, well, yeah, but we talk about this all the time, how we're all connected, how we're brotherhood of man and everything. So why can't we go and sit in each other's churches instead of having that sort of closed mentality that sometimes happens within our community, because you know, we're all needed here, Chris, at this moment. The world is in dire straits, and now more than ever it's actually a time of pulling together. So I'm pleased that you made that point.
That's the thing. It's about us being inclusive, and to me, it doesn't really matter what denomination it is either, because this can touch anybody from any religion or anything like that. And with us being an inclusive church of welcoming anybody, then this is something that could help you, even if you're not a spiritualist at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And that's another brilliant point, because I do spend time in other churches. I've recently been to a Baptist church, to their Sunday service. I will go to a Quaker meeting to experience that. I will go to the Christian church to experience what they do, because I'm very much of that belief that find what unites us. Don't look for the differences and the points that we can't agree with. Find the points that we can agree on, and let's come together and have that sense of community and collective and unity that we talk about so often.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a big promoter when it comes to things like that, because it is about being open to everybody, and it's about the church being a community hub for anybody, anywhere. And something like this, we're not particularly going into the religion side of spiritualists. It's just an overview, and it's for anybody to be able to take it away, really. It could be they could be just looking for some inspiration in life, couldn't they? Really, it's not necessarily a specific thing.
I mean, the soul's vision can also be, and people have done the workshop in the past and looked at, I know I need to move house. I don't know where it is that I want to move to, but I don't feel at home where I am at the moment. And I'm going to use this space to really feel into what are my needs around that. If I live in a city, do I need to live in the countryside? If I live in a rural community that's too cut off, do I want to be back to somewhere where there's more people around me? So it's not, people think that the soul's vision is something so kind of removed from everyday life, but I'm a very practical person. I'm a very grounded person. So it's somehow bringing the two together and translating, what does it mean for me? What's that particular question that I have, that seeking, that yearning for something more? And here's the space that I can safely explore it.
Yeah. And I think we've really covered a bit of in-depth there of what you're going to be doing there. I don't think we've shied about the information at all whatsoever.
Well, why would we? So you want to know what you're paying your money for, what you're signing up for, and with whom, and of course you do.
And I think that the last line on the post just says it's suitable for anybody. Especially, it's not just targeted at healers and mediums. It's suitable for absolutely anybody whatsoever.
Absolutely. And somebody who has been thinking about going to the church and has never even attended anything, to come along, to meet people, to have a go and see what it means for them as a sort of just exploration, really.
And if you do come along, you get to see mine and Lindsay's smiley faces on the morning.
That's right.
And I'm there all the time. So,
but there's always a nice welcoming feel on the door, the meet and greet, and I think that's really important, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. So, do they need to bring anything, the attendees, with them on the day? Then would you say?
I'd say wear something comfortable. Bring a notebook and pen. If you want to bring a packed lunch, please bring packed lunch. Teas, coffees, refreshments will be provided. And that's about it, really. All the other materials I will provide. If you've got any important even a piece of poetry or something that inspires you, or some words that have been given to you in a card or something like that. If you bring that along, you can put that on your vision board too, because ultimately you'll be creating something you can take away with you, that in moments where you're needing clarity, you can look to and say, oh yeah, that's what I set out for myself. That's what my soul was calling me to do. So you can bring personal items like that.
Yeah. And I'll just add to that about what Lindsay was saying about the packed lunch. If you don't want to bring it, there's a lovely butcher's down at the duck pond that sells lots of sandwiches and sweet treats and pies and things like that. So, I will promote the butchers because they do help us out quite a lot when we have our psychic suppers and things. So there's
that's good. That's good to know, because I always drive out past that way and I've never actually stopped at the duck pond. So that's actually a top tip, Chris. Maybe I'll do that and not worry about the packed lunch, even though I don't eat meat. Maybe they've got vegetarian options.
They've got vegetarian offerings in there, 100%.
Fantastic.
So what do you? So I think one of our last questions, just to finish off, then, is what would you like to think that the students have learned and take away from them on the day of the workshop?
So I would hope that they'll take away inspiration.
Yeah.
And that inspiration will have a visual form, so that when they're feeling a little bit lost, confused, don't know what to do, they'll remind themselves that actually when they spend that time with their soul and with that intention and that vision that they've seen for themselves, they've got a gentle reminder.
Yeah. And I think one thing I need to just reiterate here, especially for anyone who's watching now or anyone who watches it back on replay, is the last workshop we done on the soul last year was a sellout. We couldn't take any more spaces on it last year because we were at capacity, weren't we?
Yeah.
So I'm quite expecting this one to fill up again quite quickly. So you need to get in touch with us, let us know. I'm going to run through the information in a minute, but this workshop was an absolute sellout last year. So if you are interested in it, it's about you getting in early and letting us know that you're wanting to attend it, because I know I've already got names down for it now. So there's already been people, I want to be there next year because I missed out last year and things.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do the boring bit now, Lindsay. You can have a breather.
All right.
So the workshop is going to be taking place on Saturday, the 28th of June. It will start at 10 a.m. promptly. So the doors of the church will open for 9:30. We do ask you to arrive before the start time. It just allows you to get yourself in, get comfortable, get to know a few people, and get yourself nice and settled before we get started at 10 o'clock. And it'll run till approximately about 4 p.m. It might run over a little bit. It might finish a little bit earlier. It depends on how quick you get through the exercises and everything, I guess, won't it, Lindsay? But we say approximately a 4 p.m. finish. Just to let people know, so obviously if you are a member of the church, and anyone can take up a membership of the church, the memberships are still open throughout the year. If you want to get a discount towards it. So for members, it's £20, and for non-members, it's a £25 cost. What we do require is a £10 non-refundable deposit to secure your place. If you live out of area, it's absolutely fine. You can get in touch with us via the Facebook Messenger on our Facebook page, or text the mobile phone number, and we will provide you with the bank account details so you can secure your place and you don't have to travel afar to book your place for the workshop. If you are attending the church, just speak to a member of the committee in the church and they'll be able to help you out as well. One thing I do need to say though, and this is because it's happened a few times to us now, these tickets are non-transferable without agreement of the church. That would probably be through myself or through the secretary of the church agreeing to that ticket being resaleable, because we've had quite a few scammers coming on the Facebook page trying to say that there's tickets available. Please contact us to purchase them. We won't allow them people to post on our Facebook page or our Facebook group. If there is any tickets available, I do need to say to you, we will post it on the page to say tickets are available if the event sells out. So please do not be prompted by scammers or anything. And lastly, we will not ask you for any bank account information details. It is not something that we need. We will not ask for it. So if you are being asked for it and it comes up as a committee member's name that you're being asked for these for, please report it and please make the church aware of it so we can also do something about it as well, because this is for everybody's safety and security. And I do not like seeing people getting ripped off in the slightest at all. A big no-no to scammers in my eyes. So I think we've covered everything there. We are really looking forward to seeing you from a church perspective, and I'm sure Lindsay's really looking forward to meeting everybody in person again on Saturday the 28th of June.
Yeah.
And we basically, it's now over to yourselves. I know no one's asked any questions at the moment in the comments, but if there is anything that you feel that you want to ask, but you're not sure what you want to ask yet, then drop us a comment in the video afterwards. I can pick it up and I can message Lindsay and I can get a reply and post back in there and give you your answers that you need. So we will always be open to answering them questions if you do have any coming at all. And please don't be afraid to ask a question, because no question is not a stupid question in my eyes. Any question's valid at the end of the day. So I think because we've got no questions, we can near enough wrap it up there.
It's a wrap, Chris.
So I think I'm going to let Lindsay say her goodbyes and then I'll say mine, because I normally do this the other way around. And I think to myself, why have you done it that way around? Do it the other way around. So I'm going to let you say your goodbyes first before I do it.
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled and excited to be back at Norton Church. I love delivering these workshops. It's always a safe and a supportive place, and you won't be asked to do anything that you don't want to do. I'm very respectful of that, but I do hope you come along, and I'm sure there will be a lot to be gained from it. So thank you.
So, yeah, thank you very much, everybody that's watched the video. Anybody who watches it on replay, please just get in touch with us. We will look forward to seeing you at the weekend, and we will be super excited to get this workshop finally finished and polished off, ready for Lindsay coming up at the end of June. So, thank you, everybody, for watching. As usual, you know how to get in touch with us if you need to. You know where we are. We're near enough like a 24/7 shop. Obviously, we do sleep though, but we're there to respond to anything as and when you need us. So we will look forward to seeing you in the near future. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you very much, Lindsay, for coming on to do this. And we will speak to you all later. So good evening, everybody, and have a pleasant one.